Trump signed an executive order to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education. What is the Department of Education and how will this executive order affect it? Let me explain. On Thursday, March 20th, President Trump signed an executive order called Improving Education Outcomes by Empowering Parents, States, and Communities. This executive order criticized the Department of Education, claiming that it sought to convince America that federal control over education is beneficial. One of the major functions of the Department of Education is not directly educating students, but rather providing access to education. The Department of Education began operating in 1980 with the mission to promote student achievement and preparation for global competitiveness by fostering education excellence and ensuring equal access. In 2024, the department had a budget of about $241 billion. The majority of this budget is allocated to the Office of Federal Student Aid, which helps more than 9.9 million students a year make post-secondary education possible through grants, work study, and loans authorized under Title IV of the Higher Education Act of 1965. Trump's new executive order addresses this function of the Department of Education, stating, "The Department of Education currently manages a student loan debt portfolio of more than $1.6 trillion. This means the federal student aid program is roughly the size of one of the nation's largest banks, Wells Fargo." According to the Congressional Research Service, nearly 43 million people, or 1 in 6 American adults, hold federal student loans. Though no decision has been made about what will happen with federal student loans or grants, researchers like Andrew Gillen suggest where you mail your FAFSA or repayment check might change. Trump himself told reporters on March 6 that he believes student loans would be better managed by the Treasury Department. Trump's executive order also aims to return education control to the states. The order states its goal of ensuring the effective and uninterrupted delivery of services, programs, and benefits on which Americans rely. This has sparked debate, with some believing that the Department of Education is responsible for standardized testing, which determines funding. However, standardized tests are already created and managed by the states to allocate funds. According to the Education Data Initiative, the Department of Education is responsible for about 13% of funding for K-12 education. This funding includes financial assistance to children from low-income families, as well as students with disabilities, with the aim of equalizing educational opportunities across states. Return of education to the states also implies that the states will regain control over what is taught in schools. However, what is taught in schools is already largely determined by the states. A professor of education policy at Brown University reported to NPR earlier in February, "It is not the business of the federal government to be involved in curriculum or personal hiring." He went on to note that the Every Student Succeeds Act, put in place by Obama, explicitly gives this power to the states. The act was a response to Bush's No Child Left Behind, which many saw as teetering into government overreach. An assistant professor shared with Time in early March that a person's educational experience will become heavily dependent on the state they live in. Speaker Mike Johnson said, "Education is best administered by parents and teachers and those closest to students, not bureaucrats in Washington, D.C." What do you think about the executive order dismantling the Department of Education? Let us know in the comments.